This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Foch.
Well, like I've kind of said all along, you can't win them all. And unfortunately, we do have a Grand Rapids Griffins loss to talk about, but it wasn't in regulation. We'll keep beating that drum as long as we can, right? You're still undefeated in regulation. There's a whole bunch that went into it that we're going to talk about today, but they did suffer their first loss, and that's okay.
8-0. Nate the Great.
8-0-0 and 1.
One. It's like, I was thinking today on the way to work, I was like, the streak stops at 8 and Nate the Great gets called up, or Nate the Great gets called up and the streak stops at 8. Something funny like that. But yeah, this
Dr.
was
Seuss over here.
Yeah, this was a terrible situation all around.
Yeah, let's get into the introduction here and dive into all that. So welcome back, everybody, to the Hockeytown West podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. And like we said, we have the Griffins loss to talk about, but there's a whole bunch of news and roster updates to dive into right away. And I'm 1,000% sure that these discussions are going to turn into a rant to begin the episode. So here we go. First piece of news to go into, obviously the biggest news when it comes to the Detroit Red Wings is Nate Danielson gets the call. He got the call up to Detroit and played against the Blackhawks this weekend. Happy for him to get that opportunity. Interesting remarks from Todd McClellan after the game too, how he said straight up they wanted to see where he was at to be able to evaluate their situation overall with some other guys, which kind of tells us there might be moves. He said the quiet part really loudly, I think. But to start with, just for Nate, earned the opportunity, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he was expected to make the team out of camp before the injury. Everybody was stoked. I mean, Todd had said that he was on pace to make it. I didn't know if it was just coach talk of, you got to pump your guys up, right? Like, hey, you can't say, yeah, no chance. Like, what is that going to do for the player, right? So, and for the organization. So it's like, yeah, he's gonna make it. And then I think he just reiterated that though throughout in the post game yesterday. He's like, hey, he was on pace. Like we were gonna have him up here. So I mean, it was good to see he earn it. Yeah, I mean, I think after Carter went down, I think that was the next guy in line to go up, and he was, I would say, serviceable, right? I mean, I think a lot of Wings fans, I listened to a few podcasts today, and I think they're going to be kind of a rude awakening for what Nate kind of brings to the team. For what they're lacking and what he brings is not what he brings, right? Like they want offense
with this.
They want offense, right? What the second line is not providing offense at all, or the third line, right? Nate doesn't really provide a whole lot of offense. If you look at his stats, he's not a goal scorer. He's not putting up a ton of points. Yeah, he's a setup guy. He plays his foundations, his skills. He's a high IQ hockey player. He's in the right positions. He's in the good positions, and he's smart and he knows where to put the puck. But he's not there for offense. That's not a huge part of his game. It's like I heard people complain like Cop and Confer are just out there, like they're not noticeable. It's kind of the same thing with Nate, right? Like you're not really noticing him out there putting up points. That's what everybody's been dogging on him all last year about. And we're like, you got to look at it, peel it off the first layer. He's put up more points than Casper was when he was here. So it's like, but he's not going to have like that I don't think he's going to have this crazy offensive outburst. Like we never saw it here, GR. He was quietly 1 assist per game or a goal a game. Like that's kind of how his game was.
Wow.
Travis?
That
exact opposite. Perfect.
I told people the rant would come, and I guess it came about 6 tabs earlier in my news note here than we thought. But anyway,
this wasn't my rant either.
I know it's not. Trav,
wow.
before you go, I'm going to give you a second.
Yeah.
The thing with Nate is he is a setup guy. He does have a good shot, and he is a creative playmaker to get the opportunities to get shots off and score goals. Yes, we haven't seen a ton of scoring from him in GR yet. Obviously, just a 1 goal and 4 assists, 5 points in 4 games that he played after his injury. Last season did have some scoring ability there. But what we've said about him all along is that he just needs to be lined up with some guys that can shoot the puck. Like there's times last season where he was between Austin Watson and Elmer Soderblom. Those aren't elite shots for him to be dishing pucks to. Where you look at Lombardi's situation currently, who's dishing the puck to guys that can rip the puck and shoot it at a very high level. And that's why you're seeing such a high assist output for him. He's doing the right things, dishing it to the right guys. Nate, I think, can do that. It's a lot to expect him to go into the first NHL game and produce. I knew he wouldn't get his first goal, maybe even a first point in that first game. But also, you got to remember, too, he's used to playing almost 20 plus minutes a night here in GR, too. And what he played 16, 17 minutes, I think, in Detroit, maybe less. And that was probably one adjustment for him right there. He got to sit and breathe for 5 seconds, which is probably pretty nice for him. Nate's adjustment is going to take time, but you want to see how he's going to play the position. And Nate's ideally one of the better two-way players that this organization probably has in their system entirely. The guy's off the puck play is unreal. And I didn't see anything in his first game where I went, oh God, Nate, what do you do? He played his position. He played his role. You just wanted to see output. I think I know what you're trying to say with it, where you think Detroit fans want him to be a 40-goal scorer, da-da-da-da. He probably won't be, but at the same time, we don't know with him. We need to see a lot more than just one sample size game where like the whole team around him just didn't play hockey.
Well, I'm not expecting anything out of his first game. Like I understand that. I'm not making that point of like he should have scored 4 goals this game, but he's
you're just trying to simmer the expectations of everybody else,
right? Like people are saying like we saw Comfort, he didn't do anything, he's invisible out there. Well, and then people are like, well, Danielson kind of was too. Well, because he's playing the position.
Fair assessment.
He's playing
he was not noticeable at all.
Well, some people do. I mean, that's their opinion on it.
Yeah,
right.
I thought he was
definitely
noticeable.
wasn't not noticeable.
He had some good plays. There was one pass that he had up to on the right side. I can't remember who was on the receiving end of it, but he's a great passer. He plays the position very well, like you said, Brandon. He's a 200-foot player. He plays really well. You're just not going to see that offense like Casper went out of role last year. Like I just don't think people are going to see that. He's never been that guy. Look at all of his stats in juniors and in Grand Rapids. He was never that guy where he had a huge scoring output. 12 goals last year in 71 games.
Go pull his Portland stats, dude.
12 goals in 28, and he was on a loaded Portland team.
How many points in how many games?
12 points. He had 41.
Yeah. Okay. In how many games?
41 and 28.
Okay. So that's offense, buddy. Assist count.
Those are juniors.
I don't care. You just said he's never been a point guy ever.
39 points in 71 games here. He's not like a crazy offensive output as what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying, but you said ever. He's a pretty good junior
I
player.
hope everyone's watching this one on YouTube for my reactions during this time. Honestly, this is great.
I'm not saying he's going to be an elite playmaker, but I don't think it's going to be very long, and he's playing with 2 elite players.
You think he's going to get that second line from
I think he will be there quicker than later.
I hope so. I honestly hope so.
If he goes with Kane and DeBrincat, he could very well match what Marco did last year.
At least with him,
you may not see that many goals, but you might see a boatload of assists. Sorry, Brandon.
I don't know if Kane is as he was last year.
It's the DeBrincat factor.
Yeah, it really is. I think there's a lot you can speculate with it. We need to see more games. We need to see what the team's going to do. The fact that it's kind of obvious that there's probably going to be moves is, I think, the biggest thing to take away from it all. If Nate can go in there and play one game and Todd McClellan feels confident enough to make that statement out loud, that should tell you all that he sees with him. But at the same time, he's the same coach that likes the Hamonic pairing out there. So that's... Hey,
I just want
to shoot the shots where I can.
They gave him boatloads of opportunity early too. Second power play unit, they had 4 guys out. Yeah, it was 4 kids, and like you could just see though when he was on the ice, like the pace, the pace that he can play with. It's a different level compared to what's been playing that bottom 6 role, and I think that's where him being able to push the pace is going to really help that team. And then his ability to facilitate. If he can find anybody to shoot the puck, that's why I really think he's going to end up playing with on that second line by the end of the year. Like, just his setup ability is so good that if you have to pair him with an elite shooter, and their number 1 elite shooter is DeBrincat. Like, he's eclipsed 40 twice, almost had 40 last year. Like I just think that's going to happen by the end of the year. And again, there's a long way to go, but I think it was well deserved. I think he was definitely going to make the team out of camp. Like, I don't think that was even a question.
Yeah. I think you would have seen the opposite. You would have seen what you see now with MBN and Grand Rapids and Nate in Detroit from the get-go if Nate would have been healthy. I think that's kind of the obvious thing here.
I will say, Nick, I know the stats were in junior. He can put up points, and he
He had
outpaced.
27 assists last season.
That's
Like,
quite a bit, like for as a rookie.
39 points in 71 games last season, and look at
That's-
like we said, he was playing monster minutes last year. He was getting used and abused beyond what was expected of him. Coach Watson said that all the time, that they were putting him in a crazy situation all season long, and he rose up to it every single game. And you can't imagine with the end of the season schedule that team had, with how many games they were playing, how dog tired he was by the time playoffs rolled around. Like, he had been through the ringer.
You know what? It's a very interesting question that I would love if this rule would have been in effect when he was eligible for it, is if he would have played in Grand Rapids rather than go back to junior when it was Detroit or juniors 2 years ago. Because starting, I think it's next year, you can make one guy eligible that's 19. If you were picked in the first round, I don't know the exact rule, but I really would love to know, like, would Nate have gone to Grand Rapids that year or gone back to junior? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I just want people to temper their expectations on the amount of goals that are going to come from this kid, because we just haven't seen it at the pro level. That's like, well, you get the assist, he'll get the assist. He is great at passing. What?
That's your depth scoring, though. If he's facilitating, your bottom six is producing.
Well, we're hoping he's not in the bottom six. We're hoping he's in the top six. Right?
Well, for now.
Right. I think what Nick's getting at is, like, the fan base is at a point where they're so frustrated. They just want the success. And what Nick's trying to amplify here is, if he's not putting up crazy numbers, don't talk negatively about said player who's still playing good games. Like, if he doesn't blow it up on the score sheet, you peel it back and look at what else he's doing on the ice, because there's a lot more to his game than just points. And I think that's where Nick's trying to go with it, just to temper the expectation. Don't take your frustrations out on Nate Danielson if he doesn't get a goal in a couple of games.
Or Nick
Settle down. Well, you can take your frustrations on him in the comments anytime you want. We love it.
They're already dogging Emmett Finney, and he went 2 games or 3 games, maybe 5 without a goal or a point. They're already dogging him, and I'm like, guys.
It's a frustrated fan base, and I get it.
Argument,
but it is, and at the same time, though, that's a player that we didn't expect to be in the position he's in.
Right.
Like, I don't know if he expected it. So just settle down. Don't take it out on the player. Take it out on the coaches. Take it out. Direct the frustration where it needs to get directed. That's the thing. Don't take it out on these players trying to turn this into gold, because that effort we saw against the Blackhawks was just horrible, awful, terrible. Can't let Tyler Bertuzzi be the Red Wings killer. That's just not cool.
He's not. It's Arvid Soderblom. He's had our number here at GR too.
Dude, he plays so well against his brother. It's hilarious. I don't get it. I do not get it. All right, other news, because there's more than just Nate Danielson, and this is where I know another rant will come again, so prepare yourself, listeners. I'm sorry. Other pieces, Jacob Truscott, rookie defenseman, sent down to the Toledo Walleye this week. He's played 3 games with them so far down there. Got to talk to him on Saturday after the game as well. Such a great kid. Love talking to him. Other piece, this one sent everyone into a frenzy. Sebastian Cossa sustained a minor injury in practice last week while the Griffins were off. He is considered day-to-day right now, potentially, hopefully back by Wednesday, which, when we get to the other piece of news, would be really nice to see him back, but you also don't want him rushed back. I don't want the situation the Griffins are in to force them to rush him back, but we'll get there. Carter Gylander was called up from Toledo after his game in Kalamazoo on Friday, ended up in the game in Chicago on Sunday because Michael Postava got hurt in that game. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Andre Becker was also injured during practice this past week as well. Shai Buyam, really no update on him. Nick, I know you saw something on Puckpedia that said end of November timeframe, but I don't know how accurate that is and where that came from, because we've been asking for it for a bit here. So hopefully we can get an update as the week goes on. I will be at the school day game on Wednesday to maybe seek that update.
Yeah, it was weird because I was trying to see if they listed timestamps for recent transactions and see when Nate got called to go up and then when did Carter get called to go up. So I was trying to find like a timestamp for that, and then I ran into the Buyam expected back by, and so I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So I don't know how, like you said, I don't know how accurate that is. But I
wouldn't
do
take it as an accurate statement.
Yeah. But maybe it's like, hopefully, like maybe he's back by then. We have some sort of a timeline, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Booyam's back soon. That would be good. Like you said, that timeline is good. I mean, we obviously don't need another defenseman right now.
Sure about
we
that?
have,
Yeah.
I mean, depends on the situation, the way you look at it. But at the same time, like it would be nice to have him back 1000%. Because then in the situation we're about to talk about, you could sit to veteran D as well and have him back and make a full lineup. So outside of that, no other news and updates to break to you right now. Let's hop into talking about this game. There's been one game since we last recorded in Chicago against the Wolves with the winning streak on the line. And the lineup comes out, and I immediately think the graphics wrong because it wasn't 11-7, it was 11-6. We were scheduled down a skater. So I want you guys to think all back to what we just talked about and all those updates. And remember the veteran rule in play here as well in the American League, where the Griffins have to sit two guys with the way the roster's shaped up now. And Dominic Shine was one of the vets sat in this game, and Eric Gustafson was the other. And the Griffins were legitimately going to play this game down a skater, which I can't think of a time in my time watching American Hockey League hockey that I've seen a team do this. This is wild, to say the least. And I think what the rant's going to be here from both the boys is we've talked all off season about depth and injuries if they occur and everything like that. And this is the exact situation that we've been worried about coming to life here. Like this is one where if we asked Dan at the end of the game what led to the roster decision tonight, he'd be like, it's all I have. Just like we heard once last season. We've heard this before. They've been in this situation. I didn't anticipate it being a problem 9 games in. We knew it would rear its head maybe at some point down the road, but here we are.
Brandon, when was I up in Grand Rapids? Let's start there. When was I up there? Was that was before training camp? So August?
Before training camp, August, yeah, around that time.
And I told you then that the Griffins didn't have enough players. And you're like, no, it's fine. They're going to sign PTOs. Didn't happen. And I have said all summer, this team does not have enough depth. They don't have enough AHL contracts. And look what happens. I've said they're an injury and a call-up away from being screwed. What happened? Injury? Well, multiple injuries, albeit thank God they had a goaltender in Toledo. And a call-up of a forward and an injury of a forward. All of a sudden, you have 11 healthy forwards. And I get the AKL argument. He can play forward. That's where the having Truscott down here didn't help the situation for a game. But still long-term, it's not a long-term solution, I don't think, myself. I've said that a lot because they've only played him on defense since he's been here. I don't care about the past. I care about here. And since he's been a Griffin, he has yet to play forward. So
Doesn't need to.
I understand that, but that's my point, is it has not happened. I don't care what's happened in the past. They view him as a defenseman. Clearly, more of a defenseman than a forward. Now to the next point. This is a situation where there's 2 guys, well, multiple guys in Toledo that should just be signed on American League deals and stashed there in case of an emergency like this. It should have happened. It should have happened a long time ago. They should have had more guys on American League contracts anyways, not to be stashed in Toledo, just to have his depth. Like, this is where, like, okay, he left the organization, but Johannes, even if he's sitting in the press box, okay, you have a healthy forward. You have an extra guy. You let guys leave and you don't bring guys in to replace them. Like, what is, like, where does this make sense, right? Like, to me, it doesn't. I don't get it. Like, I seen this coming at some point, and I laughed. The first thing I did when we found out guys were hurt is I just sat here and laughed.
That's mean. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
He's not laughing at the injuries. He's
I'm not
laughing
at the injuries. Yeah, I'm laughing at the situation because it was so predictable, especially when all these kids made the team in Detroit. Like, okay, maybe they didn't expect these kids to make it, but you didn't help yourself have enough depth here. This all ties back into organizational depth from the NHL to the coast, and they didn't have enough AHL depth to cover themselves properly. I'll get they could have fielded a roster for one game with a guy that's played nothing but defense here playing forward, but they still should have 2 or 3 forwards in the press box. At least 1, maybe 2, especially if their call-ups happen.
Yeah, I mean, to roll into a situation like this where you have to play down a skater, it's unacceptable. It really is. For at the second tier level of pro hockey in North America, you can't field a full roster because of call-ups, so be it, whatever. You just can't field a full roster and expect your guys to go out there and play a full game and win a game. Like, the result you want is a win. And you're putting so much on these guys, the extra minutes that guys had to play that they weren't expected to play. After sitting not idle for a week, because obviously they practice, but hey, first game back in game intensity, you're going to put your body through stuff it's not used to. You're going to play an extra 5, maybe even 10 minutes in this game. Sorry, you have to deal with it because we didn't sign enough guys. And it's unacceptable. Like, I understand like the late signing of Tyler Angle when they realized all of a sudden 3 guys from the Griffins were going to make the roster. Okay, you lost 3, replaced 1. That wasn't the answer. Travis, you're spot on that guys in Toledo. There's some good guys that could get American League deals and just play in Toledo. And then when you need them, you call them. Like, we've done it in the past. I don't understand why they didn't this year. I'd love for the opportunity to sit down with Sean Horkoff and understand the details on that. It's what us fans want to know. Like, it's beyond the media aspect. It's fans. We want to know the answer. Why can't we field a full team? Your fans are going to pay to go see your team, and they're not going to see a full team. And we're going to talk about the game, but credit to every single guy in this roster for how they played in this game. We're going to talk about a loss result. We're going to talk about all that. And these guys went out there and played a phenomenal game. And I respect the heck out of each one of them that stepped out there and did it. The situation, the organization from top to bottom put these guys in, unacceptable.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the guys in the Griffins, right? They're going into this game 8-0. You don't have enough depth. You don't have enough bodies. Detroit has how many people sitting in the press box? Sitting, not playing, nothing. How there's like 3 now? That just, like, why? Like, this, the whole thing comes back to depth. Is if Detroit can have 2, why can't we have 2? Right? There's unlimited contracts in GR that we could sign and have. What are we doing? Like, top to bottom, it's not fair to these guys. It's not fair to the fans. And then you wonder why people aren't coming out to the Grand Rapids. Like, we talked about it before. Why aren't people coming out to the games? Because Detroit doesn't care. They don't care about this team. Like, it just doesn't show that they're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort, they're putting players in here for this team to even be good. And then we're on to this best start franchise history, 8-0, and we got Becker's out, injury beforehand, Cossa out before. You pull up Nate, you don't give us anybody. You don't even give us enough time to pull up Truscott back up to GR. Because I think if Truscott was here, then that's when you see AKL go into the forward position, because that's all you could do at that point, right? Or you run 11-7.
No, you would sit 2 veteran defensemen, and Shine would have been in the lineup.
Yeah. That was the other puzzle that we could have did as well. So, like, that's exactly what I walked through the other day.
You had exactly what makes sense.
It makes great sense.
The Truscott send down makes 0 sense.
Well, it did at that point, because he didn't play. He was barely playing any games at GR, and he needed to stay fresh. He needed to stay game ready. And so give us some games at Toledo. Now, I don't have a problem with that. But then at that point and you can't pull him back up because Toledo had a game Sunday. So it's not like, hey, just go down Saturday and come back up, hitch a ride with you and Elaine back. No, it was, you got a game on Sunday. Yeah, I know you would have. You guys are nice guys like that. But just say, like, you would have had him, and then you would have been able to play Shine. You would have had enough people. Like, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to see this. And like, Trav, you and I talked before the game. We're like, well, Kossa's hurt. And so now we just don't understand why they run with all these goalies. Now we might actually be short goalies because of Postava now being hurt in this game. And now, you got Liam down in Toledo. You got Nolan there. Just luckily you have Nolan there because he is loaned by Cleveland. So if Cleveland pulls him, now what? Now we're short goalies, right? Depending on how
Cleveland
bad these
pulls him
are.
And we pull Liam, Toledo's pulling goalies from where?
Ace, get your equipment ready because you're going in, buddy. That's where we're at. So I don't know.
And we're 9 games in.
Yeah, you can't expect like a fluke injury here or there to happen, or this many call-ups. But at the same point, like, Detroit, you're running with 2-3 extra guys up there. We should be running with 2-3 extra guys here as well. Like, I don't know why that is an issue, why we can't. They've been able to do roster gymnastics with Detroit by sending people through waivers down here and then back up. What are we doing? Why are we running one? This is an organization. It's not just one team. We're running you're running 3 teams here. I know it takes a while to restock the cabinets, and that's why GR's in the position they are in. But still, like, we have people in Toledo that have played in the AHL, that have experience. What are we doing? Why do we consistently see these guys go 2 other AHL teams? We need them here. Just roll them 2 extra. I don't get why. Drives me nuts. It's not fair to everybody.
Well, it's funny, Nick, we just talked about this on Thursday, or what was it? Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and then this happens. But to just touch on your Detroit point, like, the guys they have won't clear waivers. That's why Detroit can't send them down. That they're not going to clear. They can't waive Elmer. He's going to get claimed. Berge, going to get claimed.
Emmett Finney could clear. Nate Danielson could clear.
But they're not going to take him out of the lineup. Those guys aren't coming out of the lineup.
I know.
So here's the thing.
They can.
They can, but
they chose not to.
Yeah.
I get it.
If those players aren't going to clear and you're not going to play them, move them.
Well, you need depth up there.
Get pieces, get depth, figure it out. Every other hockey team in the league could field the roster. It's a Detroit problem.
No, it's a Grand Rapids 100% not a Detroit problem. It's a Griffins problem for not helping themselves by signing AHL talent to AHL contracts.
But we can't confirm that is the deal or not. What if they were told they didn't need to? Like,
you should have it
up here.
You should have
and comes down.
At some point, you have to go into business for yourself and prepare for this kind of problem. And he didn't. They're not doing it. They didn't do it.
Welcome to the American League, not the ECHL, Travis.
I think Brandon's just trying to save
I've seen
his
this
ass.
problem for years.
No, there's a lot more hands in the pot when it comes to oversight from above here than there is in Toledo, which sucks because it should be all the way up and down the board. They should all be there to help each other. I can't tell you, the weirdest moment I had when we went to Toledo this week, you go into the team shop, there's a puck there, and it says proud affiliate of the Detroit Red Wings. Griffins, non-existent. The Griffins, for some reason, are treated like the team that doesn't exist by the top organization, and I'll say that on here. I will say it. It feels like it every time. There's so much potential with the Griffins and so much love that they could give this team that other teams in the league get from their NHL teams. I'm looking at the prime example that we know a person that has worked with a team for a while. When you look at the Cleveland Monsters and the Blue Jackets relationship, it's chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Detroit needs to treat Grand Rapids the same way that Columbus treats the Monsters. The fans are more bought in up and down the organization. It's everything overall. But when it comes to not being able to field a dang roster for a professional hockey game, that's embarrassing, and they need to fix it, and they need to fix it fast, because all it takes is one more injury, and what the heck are we going to do?
I will sign off on that, Brandon. I will sign off on that. It is a Detroit issue at that point.
It's 100% a Detroit issue, and it needs to be fixed.
And maybe, next time we see yzerman in the locker
yeah,
room,
right.
we request for him and ask him this question. Like, what can we do? What do we got to do to get back in good graces with you? Like, why do we continue to
open
suffer?
Invitation to any of them from Horkoff all the way up. The open invitation to come on the show and be interviewed and talk through this. It's there. We'll have you anytime.
Well,
Gladly.
the funny thing with the red-white game is the recording before, like that chat talk thing they had before. They were like, "Oh, we have plenty of depth." And I looked.
You laughed immediately.
Brandon looks at me, and I was like, "No, you don't." And we're 9 games in, and we have a problem.
Outside the organization, sure, you've got a ton of college prospects. You've got guys overseas. Yeah, you've got depth, but not if something happens. We're one Detroit injury or one Grand Rapids injury away from just chaos.
It's already
not
chaos.
To even mention if Toledo has an injury.
We have enough help. we can find guys.
Travel stayed up.
Yeah, and you were spot on, Travis. When we talked this weekend, there's a couple of guys that should have deals, and our biggest fear is that another team is going to be like, "Hey, let's give them a PTO on our team," like we saw happen last year countless times.
Yeah, Bliss, Louis.
It takes one AHL team to call up and say, "I want Hillibrand for a PTO." That's a guy that Grand Rapids should have. That is a guy they should sign.
You could go through Toledo's roster and have a handful.
Yeah, and I don't understand because we did it before. Remember the year of both Craggs brothers getting called up? You had Bliss on that deal. You had, God,
Warad.
The list goes on. Warad, Barton.
Yeah.
The list could go on, and that was just a few years ago. Why is it different this year? Those are the questions we want answered. Will we ever get them answered? I don't know.
It's just fair points, though.
It is. I mean, it has to be said, and I feel like we've said it in a respectful enough way to where there's definitely ways we could have said it. But I digress. We move on. We'll save the listeners. Let's talk hockey because we've gone on a 40-minute recording here already. I know it won't be that in the final edit, but at the same time, we haven't even gotten to the hockey game or an ad break yet. Back to the hockey game. As we've alluded, 8 minutes into this game against the Wolves, Michael Postava makes a save, goes down. It doesn't look good. I'll be honest. I think groin. We don't have any updates. Some people say toe. It doesn't look good. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, Travis?
I got to throw this in because I said to Pat after the game, I said, did you see what happened? And he goes, Postava. And I was like, yeah. He's like, we did see it. He goes, is it his toe? Just a funny
it looks like
thing
a
from
toe
post-game.
save, but
yeah.
Zooming in on it, it hits like the bend of the pad right above the foot. And just the way he stretched, and especially because he made an incredible outstretched save right before that too. Incredible save. I'm like, oh God, he tweaked it on that. And then there's the full pull right there.
Yeah.
No. So once we know updates on Posty, we'll share them. Moving on from that though, the game very back and forth. Chicago had a lot of juice. We'll say that. They came to play this game and they knew what they were up against, a shorthanded roster, and they tried to play a fast physical game and get the Griffins drawn into it. I mean, God, they scored the first goal of the game. Shorthanded. Griffins respond in the second period on the power play. The Wolves respond, not a special teams goal. Cool. They get another shorty. 2 shorthanded goals in one game.
While we're already playing shorthanded.
Well, every goal against was shorthanded. No. Yeah. 2 shorthanded goals there at this point. They're up 3-1. Second period, near the end of it, another power play goal for Grand Rapids. Austin Watson gets a goal there. And in the third period, MBN on the power play ties it up. All 3 Griffins goals were on the power play. They went 3 for 5 in this one. The PK went 4 for 4, but we allowed 2 shorties. Who won the special teams battle? Still us on the scoreboard, I think, unless shorties count for 2.
Only in Ignite the Nest.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. This game goes to overtime. Nothing happens in that. Chicago has 1 shot on goal. The Griffins have 0. It goes to a shootout. Ammo goes in, makes a great move, doesn't get the shot off. You're just like, shoot it a little earlier, and he probably had it, or if he could get it up over the pad, he had it. First shooter, Vierling for Chicago. He beats Skylander. John Leonard comes down. Beautiful shot for a goal, ties this thing up. Bradley Dado goes down for Chicago, gets a goal. Michael brandsegg-nygard, don't know what he did in the shootout here.
I don't think he knew.
Can someone explain it to me?
He got nervous.
I can. I can. He has way too good of a shot to be trying to do anything other than shoot the puck.
There you go. So Griffins lose. Griffins losing this one. And it does suck to lose that first game of the season. It's like, all right, how do we respond on Wednesday? But as I said earlier when we were talking about the roster, this team played an incredible game for what they had to deal with. I mean, you're looking up and down this lineup, and you got Alex Doucette on the second line. You've got Raklovsky playing third line, and you got Bantle and Seeger being your extras down there. You had guys up in positions that they were not expected to be in suddenly. And I thought they all played fantastic, especially when you look at the optic of your goalie goes down. Here's Skylander fresh off a game on Friday in Kalamazoo that he probably wants back. And you come into this one and the goals against him, not his fault. Those shorties, what was he going to do? What was he supposed to do?
I can think of the one I could think he would maybe want back, knowing the competitive person. The one down.
Oh, yeah,
he's
competitive as all get out.
I think it was the first goal down the wing, shot it from that's a tough one. But like the other 2, it looked like the game Friday night in Kalamazoo all over again for him. Like left out to dry, just here you go.
I was thinking the same thing. He's probably got like flashback PTSD of being in this game because it was like there's 2 or 3 goals against him that were just odd man rushes. I'm like, what are you to do? Like, I feel bad for Carter. And I think a lot of it, too, is like on those odd man rushes, these defensemen know where they're supposed to be with like Postava. Like, hey, this is how he wants this covered. Or Cossa. Kossa's going to take the shot, right? Or whatever the situation. They have no idea with Carter, right? They've never played with Carter before this game. So they don't know how he wants it.
Fair to say. He played last season with a bunch of them.
Maybe Vollander at 2-0, but for defense, I don't know if anybody else.
Oh, I'm just saying the full roster in general, but
yeah.
Well,
he played a good chunk of games.
Yeah,
I think there was some miscommunication on a few where they were just like, "Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?" And it was just kind of like a delay, and the shooter shot, and it was.
Well, I think you let odd man rushes happen shorthanded like that, and you left him out to dry.
I will say, like the defenseman's job is to take the pass away. So like goalie should be playing shot first, but. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're not wrong, Nick. Like, there is communication involved there.
And I mean, one of the shorties too was just mishandling of the puck by Ian Mitchell at the blue line, and they went the other way. There was a 3-on-1. Like, what? He did all he could do. The thing, my biggest takeaway from this game is you look at the stat lines, right? You see 3 for 5 in the power play. You see a perfect penalty kill. You see we outshot the Wolves in this one. You look at the stats from the guys, and you're like, they won this game, right? And they didn't, unfortunately. And 7 out of 10 times, you probably win this game. This one we didn't. Maybe with one more guy in the lineup, you win this game. World may never know.
So. I think so too. I really do. I think there's, if we were going to lose a game, this was it, right? This was the reason. There was too much to overcome on it. And they were right there all the way to the end. Even the shot chart, like all of their shots were still in close, in deep, looking for those dirty goals. Like
they still played their game.
Yeah. And Chicago was left on the outside for a lot of their shots. So it's just, you're down a player, your starting goalie goes down, your other goalie goes down, you're now in your third goalie. Like, this was the game. Like, we'll get him.
If there's a guy that's meant to coach this way, it's Dan Watson, because he did it for so many years in Toledo. Because in the past, you couldn't dress 4 full forward lines. It was 3 full lines and 2 spares. You only got so many skaters. You didn't field a full 20-man. I think it was 19 skaters. Now it's 20, obviously. But if there's a coach to coach a game like this, they got the right guy for the job. And like you said, I
had the right game plan.
Yeah, and you applaud the effort.
Yeah, that's all you could do. Like, I'm proud of this team for the way they played in this one. I still think Bantel's goal that he ended up getting called goaltender interference for was a goal, but that's just me. Maybe it's the homer in me. But at the end of the day, great effort from the guys. You took them to a shootout, shorthanded like this. You don't allow those 2 shorthanded goals, and you have this win. And you give credit to some of those guys in Chicago, like Bradley Nadeau. Carolina's really high on this kid, and there's a reason for it. He's good. He's a good hockey player. Evan Vierling is off to a great start this season, shocking a lot of people. No one expected him to be producing the way he is. It's just one of those games, unfortunately. And I think that's the best way to talk about the game overall. We're going to hit a quick ad break. Then when we come back, we'll dive into a couple of the Griffins players in this one, talk about the rest of the AHL, and give you our 3 stars of the week.
Hockey is back, and this season's DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player drops to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. I know the big one right now, everybody's betting on it. Emmett Finney for the Calder. So put your bets in now. Be a fun watch for the rest of the season. Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus agent eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must wait to receive bonus bets, which expire 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025, all rights reserved.
And welcome back. All right, let's talk about some of the guys for the Griffins that stood out the most in this game. And you have to start off with Sheldon Dries, 2-point game from him in a beautiful redirection goal. John Leonard does a little shot pass type style thing down to him. Beautiful redirect right over the goalie's pad. Unreal goal.
Unreal. I wish it was just like some magic that Leonard had there of just like curving that in just to keep his goal streak going. But it was smart on Dries to keep his stick on the ice and deflect that in. Beautiful. I don't know if he was trying to shoot it or if he was just trying to deflect it in. Leonard.
I think he was shooting for the deflection, honestly. That looks like something those two have practiced a little bit. Like,
That's a
Dries was just ready for it.
That's a plan play, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of John Leonard, though, yes, his goal streak did end, but now on an 8-game point streak as well with that assist on that goal. Guy just continues to play great, and his shootout goal was a beauty. Then you move on. We got to talk about Amadeus Lombardi. Obviously, we said his shootout goal, he didn't get that off, but he does get another assist in this game. He's on a 5-game assist streak right now. continuing to just put up massive assist numbers. Look, I know we want him to shoot it more, but God, he continues to just dish out great opportunities that turn into goals. But we do want him to shoot, right?
Well, he's on the Carson Bantle reverse stat line for Toledo with Grand Rapids this year. Bantle had what, like 21 goals and like no assists at one point last year for
Yeah, and
Toledo.
Amo's got 10 assists, no goals.
Yeah, he's on the assist train. I just thought I'd throw that in. I think his game's been really good. I like you said, Brandon, I would like to see him shoot the puck maybe a little bit more. I think if he sees one goes in, the confidence might kind of skyrocket a little bit. But when you're playing with Leonard, it's hard not to pass with how hot he is.
Oh yeah, 1000%. And like the other part of Amo's game that everyone talked about was his defensive side of his game, right? You're like, he needs to get better at that. He's been really, really good on the defensive side of the puck this season and rocking a +6 right now too. Granted, it does help when you're on the ice for a lot of those goals that getting the assist. But hey, defensively, he's looked really, really good in the position, and he's been playing on the top line almost all season.
Yeah, there was one point in the game, the guy, he pushed the guy back. He was on the blue line. He was getting ready to move into the neutral zone, into the offense, and Amo pushed him back. Like, he was just a dog on that, just trying to get the puck from him. And I was just like laughing. I was like, Amo's going to get this, and he's going to go in and walk in and score. But I can't remember if he got the turnover or not on it, but I mean, it was just like, just seeing that dog in him, right? He's so good at picking pockets, and you know, it's stuff you like to see. It's just that those little things will add up and will continue to move forward for him. So
yeah, 100%. Another guy I want to talk about, not just specifically because of this game. Yes, he did score a goal and he had a shootout attempt in this one. But we keep getting asked, how's MBN looked since he came back to Grand Rapids? What are your guys' thoughts on his game so far out of the, 4 games he's played with a goal and an assist? So
I think the pace is good. I think it fits him just a little bit better at this point where he's at. You like the half a point per game production. I'm sure that as he continues to gain confidence, that'll continue to not skyrocket, but be consistent. He'll find that consistency potentially. He's going to play a lot of minutes. Like he's going to play in the top 6. I like the fact that he was with Nate initially, correct? You guys would have to kind of confirm that for me. I believe he's playing with Nate for a few games before Nate's
yeah, in the
call
second
up.
line there. Yep.
Yeah. So obviously now with Nate not there, I don't think they're going to want to put him with Leonard and Ammo.
That's what they did for this game with the shorthanded roster. He was on the first line with them.
Yeah, so we'll see. And thank you, because this, again, I was in Toledo. We had a game here at the same time. Style-wise, I don't know how that works with both of them having such good shots, like being big shots. But MBN's kind of that tone setter for that line. So, again, that could work really well. But again, like I think it will. I think he'll continue to improve, but I don't think he's looked lost. I think he looks a little more comfortable potentially. But it's only going to get better as they carry on.
The stat line I don't like for him and others Sunday's game is that MBN was on the ice for every single goal in the game except one, which was Watson's power play goal. But so was Ammo as well. And Leonard was as well, except for 2 of the goals, one of Chicago's, one of Grand Rapids. But MBN defensively so far, I haven't loved. I'll be honest.
that's fair. I mean, he's going to be one of those big shooters, right? You're going to get them the puck in his zone, in his area, and he's going to just rip it. The thing, like defensively wise, like it's hard for me to be able to watch him on TV because we don't get the full angle of like where he's at. So I haven't been able to watch him in person, where you were at Sunday's game, so you were able to watch him and kind of keep more of an eye on it. So it's just harder to see it on the TV side of like, where is he at? Where is he being deployed? I just see him in the offensive zone and widen up with the big shot. The one thing I want to add on him though, is he's only played 4 games. He's had a crazy kind of start because he was on one wing and then he swapped to the other and then he went back and then now the line changes. So like the lineup has been kind of crazy, especially with this last game. But the one thing I want to point out is 4 games, he's got 10 shots. He's tied for like 5th in the team with shots.
He's 12th in the team in shots right now.
There's a couple people tied, so that's why.
I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So he's up there. I think it's just he's gonna find it, right? The biggest thing, like that goal that he had on Sunday was a classic MBN shot. Like he was wide open. He had the whole goal. Like if he would have missed that, then I would have been like, bro,
I think I could have scored that
with one hand. Like, it's just one of those things of like, I would have been concerned. Like, he gets it and he rips it like his classic style. So, I mean, I think it'll start coming. I think the goals will start coming in bunches. And, I think he's starting to get familiar down here as well. So, I'm excited. It's small sample size. That's the biggest thing. And it's been kind of hard because they were on the road. They played Rockford away, Rockford home, Chicago away. Was that, you play Iowa?
He was
away?
not at the Iowa game, I don't think. Maybe he was. I don't. Oh yeah, that would be 4 games.
That'd be
so
4.
Yes, he was.
So a lot of road games too. So I mean, that's just for him. It's a lot of travel. So the good thing though is the boys like to come together on the road trips, and I just get more gelled in with the team. So and get more.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the shots too, because that's what my next point with him was going to be. 10 shots in 4 games is great. He is shooting the puck, and that's exactly what you want him to do. And the defensive part, like that's just being nitpicky. Like I've been asked the opinion on him so many times where it's just like he's not blowing the doors down, but he's not playing bad. And I think that's all you can ask out of the small sample size right now.
The one thing that Detroit fans really liked when he was up there was the hit stat. Right, he was one of the leaders in hits per game, and we just don't have that at the AHL. Like they just don't.
I wish we
give
had
us
that stat.
I
mean, you do see him out there throwing the body, which is great. I don't know if he's doing it at the level he was in Detroit, but he's still stirring things up out there when he needs to.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's just so small of a sample with how crazy things have been. You're spot on with that take there too, Nick.
Maybe that's the guy, if I come up Friday, that I can just kind of watch. Like I'll single out watching him, and I can give you a more full answer next week.
And it is nice too with Nate gone. Now you can actually tell the difference on TV when you're watching him, because the number 28 and 29 on those black jerseys look so similar that even Bob was confused half the time of who shot the puck, and it got us just as confused. Our black jerseys are so hard to read on TV, so hard to read. Those were really the guys that stood out. You have another take there, Nick? Okay. Those were really the guys that stood out the most in this game. Obviously, you can call it the whole lineup. Like we said, with this game in particular, everybody rose to the occasion in an occasion they should not have to have risen to in this one. They played their hearts out. They did everything possible. And again, being down a man to take a team to a shootout. Yes, you unfortunately lose there, but at the same time, to do what they did in this one, just round of applause for the whole dang locker room. They showed who this team truly is, and it's a team that's not going to take a little bump in the road and let it drag them down. They're going to go out there and play their game every time. Heck, if they were only playing with 3 lines, I think we could still see the same effort, honestly. It's such a great roster, such a great room, and as a fan, I'm proud of that team, 1,000% for the effort that they put in Chicago, and congrats, Chicago, you beat us. Whoop-de-doo. 3 stars of the week, or of the game, we should say. Obviously, on the stat sheet, the stars came all from Chicago. I threw together one myself here. We'll see if the boys agree with me. And the 3rd star of the week, I had John Leonard. Another assist, another point for him, 5 shots on goal, another solid game, plus the shootout goal. Honestly, just another great week from good old Lenny there. I think we can all kind of agree that he was the 3rd star in this one. 2nd star of the week, Amadeus Lombardi. An assist for him in this one, 3 shots on goal, another solid defensive game from him overall. Just a good, like, every time he had the puck in his stick, it was good. I didn't see bad. I am starting to realize it's really easy to scout him because he kind of just skates in down the side and quick turn. Every freaking time. 1st star of the week, Sheldon Dries. Goal and assist in this game. Absolutely beautiful goal. Great game from Drisey, having to step up in a big way in this one with the absence of some other guys. When you talk about Nate Danielson not being there, Dominic Shine not being in this lineup because of the vet rule, Drisey stepped up and played his role really well. Ironically, the 3 stars are the 3 guys we talked about the most about this game. So who would have thought? But honestly, the honorary star is just the team. Team gets a star. Iro gets a special star for having to come into that situation. Not his fault. I will say that over and over again. I hope I get to see him. I hope he's not back in Toledo, but I hope I get to see him Wednesday. I haven't seen him since we interviewed him in the offseason.
I'll say this about him. I would give him an honorable mention just for the fact that you get called up after a tough game that, you played in a tough game Friday. You're not probably expected to play on Sunday, right? Like you probably anticipate being a backup. And then you get thrown in, 10 minutes into the game, and you drag the team to a point when they're dressed in one less player than what you can dress in a game, like you're shorthanded, like and to be fair, gets thrown to the wolves on 2 penalty kill plays.
No pun intended.
I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry. It's on me there, but it's just the fact he's like he kind of got here. like I said earlier, it's like he was playing Friday night all over again. Probably,
You got the short
especially
end of
when
the stick in this deal.
oh, very, very.
Yeah. You can't judge Carter Gylander based on this one game.
And
You gotta-
don't judge
like-
him on the Friday game either.
No, that was ugly. Oh. Griffin's upcoming schedule, like we've said a couple of times, they do play the Toronto Marlies, a team out of the division. Holy crap, boys. This is great. They play them on Wednesday for the annual school day game. So 11 a.m. puck drop. That's an early one. And if you go to the game, God bless you. Those screaming children are so loud. Then you got the Marlies again on Friday at home for the military appreciation game. Always a good one. Jerseys look sick this year. Excited for that one. So Toronto back to back before they head on the road next week to Rockford for a Wednesday game. Yes, the Griffins have another Saturday off. This schedule to begin the season is so bizarre for this team. Especially when you look around them, I think the Griffins are tied with 3 teams for the fewest games played so far this season. It's weird. Moving on from that, though. Excited to see a new team come to town. We haven't seen the Marlies, I think, for a full season. We didn't play them at all last year. We played them last time the season before that. And there was some bad blood between the 2 teams back then, too. So I don't think there's much carryover in the roster between the 2 teams. But, hey, you never know. I always look at this as a Detroit versus Toronto matchup. And it's always fun. So I'll be excited to see that one. I'm excited to be there besides the screaming children, but at least they're not as loud up on press row.
I hope we get
Moving
a Shield jersey versus blue jersey.
I
matchup.
really hope that's the jersey matchup. It needs to be Shield versus their blue jersey. That's just clean. Moving on from that, let's give you guys an update around the American Hockey League here. And we're talking about the standings. Not a ton has changed overall. The Central Division looks exactly the same as it did last week when we talked. Rockford 2nd, Milwaukee 3rd, Chicago 4th, Manitoba 5th, Iowa 6th, Texas in 7th. They've won 3 games now. They won 3 in a row and then lost a game. But looks like they might be starting to figure it out down there. New coach, new system, who knows? Around the league, Laval leading the North Division, Providence leading the Atlantic, Colorado still leading the Pacific. An interesting thing to point out in the special teams category, Texas currently rocking a 3.4% power play, the absolute worst in the league, with the Cleveland Monsters right ahead of them at 10.9%. Those are ugly. When you look at the Griffins and special teams, I forgot to point this out earlier. The 3rd best power play in the league at 26.7%, with Milwaukee at 34.3%. Crazy, insane stat for them. But the Griffins, best penalty kill in the American Hockey League so far this season at 87.9%. Love that. Love that for us. Love to see the power play up there after all these years, and good to see the penalty kill at the top where it rightfully belongs. Other interesting things around the league, Matt Murray. He was the player of the week last week for the AHL, a sensational week for the Milwaukee Admirals. 2 games played, 2 wins, a .48 goals against, and a .979 save percentage. We got vintage Matt Murray back in the division, it looks like.
Yeah,
Which one?
Rockford.
Which one? Not the one you're thinking of. Not that one. Different Matt Murray. Still a really good goaltender.
Yeah, their matchup, they played Rockford. And Rockford's not and we just finished playing Rockford. So, I mean, it's not like they played a bad team like Texas or, Cleveland. Like, they played a really good team this weekend. And for him to put up those stats, I mean, that is extremely impressive. I'm nervous about Milwaukee. That is going to be the team that I going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, 6-1-2 in their past 10, sitting in 3rd in the division. They've only played 9 games just like us, and 6-1-2 is what their record is right now. So it's interesting. Interesting to keep an eye on. I didn't think they'd be that good this season. And I should always know that Milwaukee's kind of always going to field a good roster, really, no matter what. It's something about Milwaukee. We don't play them, I don't think, until December.
Jeez. Their organization has ran very well.
It is. We're not, don't. Just don't do what you're trying to do. We're not, nope. You did speak on Rockford, and I think it's a perfect transition to Nick Lardis being the AHL Rookie of the Month in October. 8 games played, 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points. We saw one of those goals, unfortunately, against us, but this kid's good. Blackhawks got a nice player there.
Blackhawks have a lot of young players that are really good hockey players. They're going to be a problem in a few years.
And it's what happens when the league rigs a draft for you. Moving on.
Or you just draft well, like.
Yeah, I know. Had to say it. I'm sorry. The other weird storyline is that the Western Conference finalists from last season off to some terrible starts this year. Oxford, 0-8-0-2 in their last 10 games. Haven't won since the opening weekend against Henderson, who ironically is leading that or second in that division right now behind Colorado. They're 7-3 in their past 10. And Texas, obviously, we've talked about it multiple weeks in a row. They're still struggling. Those were your two finalists last year in the Western Conference. They're off to pretty rough starts. It's really strange to see. I was reading Patrick Williams' article about it. Texas, it's kind of understandable with the change at the helm, which they've been really stable there for the past few years. Abbotsford's drop off is kind of crazy. You don't think so?
No, Vancouver's beat up. They've got guys up. They traded Shelovs to Pittsburgh. Like,
it's true.
You know, they lost. They've got a lot that wasn't there last year. So I'm not totally surprised by that. The only reason I know about the Vancouver stuff is because the other show I listened to, but being Canadian based, but and then you realize that Shelovs was the guy, right? Like
he was the guy,
and now he's in Pittsburgh. So you lose your number one. And speaking of Abbotsford, to tie it into Kalamazoo, look at the yo-yo they went through this weekend. So like it's not that crazy.
I mean, it's not when you look at all those factors, but it's to be bottom of the division, 12 games in. It's like I don't know. Abbotsford's always up there in the AHL. They're always a solid team. And yes, Vancouver being depleted obviously does hurt everybody from top to bottom. But I didn't expect them to be winless in their last 10 games. Like you'd think a win in there when you look at some of their opponents. I don't know. Interesting.
It reminds me of Bridgeport last year. They finished with 15 wins. That was like their lowest franchise. Like these two teams are kind of on that pace. Bridgeport's already got 5 wins this year out of their 12.
Improvement for them.
A huge improvement there, but maybe it's something to keep an eye on. Abbotsford and
Texas.
I think Texas will figure it out, but Abbotsford, who knows at that point? Like that, they might be on the pace of unfortunate.
Well, I'll tell you in the opposite spectrum, you look at the Eastern Conference and the two finalists there having great starts to the season. Laval leading the North. They're 8-4 out of the 12 games they've played. And then you got Charlotte in 4th in the Atlantic. And the Atlantic's tough. This division is insane. When you look at Providence leading it at 10 wins, 1 loss. Wilkes-Barre in second with 9-3-1 in their 13 games. Lehigh Valley right ahead of Charlotte there at 8-3-0-1. Charlotte at 6-4-1. And I only talk about Charlotte in this case is because we'll see them come to town in a week. That's one, I think it's John Leonard revenge game. 2, it's going to be one of those tougher opponents outside the division where it's an unfortunate situation with Grand Rapids when you look at the roster. Hopefully by then there's more stability in it. But this could be a real test for the Griffins.
Yeah,
measuring stick weekend.
What weekend?
Measuring stick weekend. It's a weekend, isn't it, when they come to town? Or is it
I believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean, they won the East last year. They were right there for the Calder Cup, and they got a good team, like you said, and they're in a tough division. So that'll be a big weekend when they come. Or if it's a big week. Let me cover all bases here.
I'll take it because last time we said it was a measuring stick week or weekend, we did pretty well. So, yeah, it's going to be a measuring stick week for sure. But that's all the news and updates around the American League. Nothing else crazy to update you with. Yeah, we've talked a lot during this episode. This is already long enough. I know I'm saying that, and the edit will probably shorten it down, but we've talked a lot today. So we're going to wrap it up here. So thank you all for tuning in and listening to our rants today. I know there's some fans out there that are just as frustrated about the situations as we are, and we just want to see this team be set up for success every single night. Because this roster, this room, this team feels special this season. And you don't want these little things to be the things that cost what could be a really special 30th anniversary season for the team. And that's the way we look at it. And that's why we're so passionate behind everything we're saying around this. But we'll wrap this up. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, you got to thank our sponsors, DraftKings and Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're betting with DraftKings, use code THPN. And when you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, use code WEST to save a few bucks off your order. And of course, we got to thank our wonderful Patreon subscribers for their love and support as well. They've got a doozy of an episode this week because all of our unedited episodes go there. So enjoy that, folks. And if you want to join these lovely folks over there, head over to patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast. And the lovely folks are...
We got Darren Swartz, Peter Grell, Joe Schroeder, Bryson DeChambeau is elite, Tyler Ingalls, Claire Boughton, John in Florida, Elaine Grace, Griffin, not from GR, Randy Zick, Derek Sleezer, Lori Fausch, Alan Fausch, Michael Asante, That's it.
Thank you all, as always, for the love and support. We appreciate you guys so much. And again, we hope you enjoyed this episode today. Everybody, until we talk again on this week's Toledo episode, which will be coming out either Thursday or Friday, the Griffins playing on a Sunday really throws everything off for us as we try to go Monday, Thursday for our episodes. But stay tuned for that one. It'll be a great update. A lot of walleye hockey played and obviously some roster changes there too we'll talk about. But until then, as always, go Griffins, go walleye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at BrandonGR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.